Hi guys, welcome to another video from Overbite Gaming, and today we're going to be taking a look at Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. Oh god, I've gone in Yoda for some reason. I wasn't really looking forward to this when I first heard about it. It's pixel arty, throwback shooter, you know, back to the times where shooters were fucking hard. So I wasn't really that excited for it. Pixel art for me is just been done to death. The first few games I saw with it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then everybody used it because it was easy. And I just got sick of it. So I was like looking at this going, oh man, really? I was hoping for something a bit better than that, really. But then I sort of heard some good buzz about it, so I ended up picking it up. I mean, it's not hugely expensive. I think it's about 18 quid on Steam. And to my surprise, I absolutely love it and played it far more than I thought I would. So basically you play as a Ultramarine Stern Guard who goes down with his team to a planet, a Forge world, to retrieve a object of power. There's not a huge amount of story to the game. It's a lot of sort of shooting, so I will be fairly light on the story elements, just in case you are interested. And of course things go awry and you're the only survivor of the drop pods, and yes, then it becomes just a glorious first-person shooter in sort of a 90s retro style. I believe they call them boomer shooters. Not sure how I feel about that. Boomer has so many negative connotations, but yeah, I happen to agree with them, probably because I would qualify as a boomer, so make of that what you will. But the game is absolutely predicated on its gameplay. It plays fantastically. It's, if you've only played Call of Duty and stuff like that, and you've never gone back and played like the earlier games like Doom or Blood or Heretic, you know, things like that, you may just take one look at it and be like, ugh, what the fudge is that? What are they doing? I don't get it. Why would you take Warhammer 40k and make it look like this? But for me, it just absolutely works. Yes, it does look like a game from the 90s, but that was kind of the point. It runs perfectly well, obviously, because it can run on pretty much anything, I would imagine. It is available on the Switch, Windows, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series consoles, so whatever you game on, you can play it. And it's just one of those games where it's all about the gameplay. I mean, it's cassette and Warhammer 40k, there is a storyline going on, but it's all about the gameplay as you play it. Screw the story. I am very much usually a story-driven gamer. I play the game to see more of the story, but in this, I play the game because the game is fun. And I think that is the watchword for Boltgun. It is just fun. So all of the weapons sound great, have a good impact. What they do to the enemy is frankly obscene. I love it. He will suffer no heretic to live, and by gosh, he doesn't. He is mowing them down and spreading them around the room, quite literally. So I love it. When you're shooting like a Chaos Space Marine that's got a bit of health and you have to put several sustained bursts in him, I make the Rambo face. I was like, just, yeah, I'm sorry, I probably just killed several headphone users. Never mind. I don't have that many subs to keep killing them though, so I won't do that again. But you know, I mean, okay, maybe not Rambo, maybe more like the Topper Hardy version of Rambo. That's probably more my level. But yeah, it's just so much fun to play. You get a good selection of weapons. You start off with just a chainsword, but you very shortly after get your bolter. And obviously, being called Boltgun, it's kind of the star of the show. And honestly, outside of very few instances, it's the weapon you will probably use the most as well. It sounds great, it's got great feedback, and it does make the enemies into a bloody smear, which is lovely. But you do get more weapons on top of that. You get a shotgun, plasma gun, you get a grav cannon, you know, stuff like that. Your standard Warhammer fare, including one I can't really pronounce, which is like a heat beam. But there you go. And it's just running around levels. Now, the level design itself, occasionally you will end up running around in a circle going, where the hell do I go? but usually it doesn't last long, and you are able to find your way out without too many issues, although, you know, I have run around the levels a bit myself. I've only captured like the early gameplay stuff, as I always do, because I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, and, you know, at the end of the day, if it's a good game, I kind of want you to play it. So there you go. There's only Chaos Forces you're fighting, unfortunately. There's no Orcs or anything like that. It's just Cultists, Chaos Marines, Obliterators, I think they're called, although I always just call them Obliterators, and then there's like Chaos Terminators as well now, and I'm just like, is there a difference? I'm not sure, because I was never a Chaos player, so whatever. Primarily because Chaos is a lot harder to paint, and I'm terrible at painting anyway. I was always an Ultimate Shoulder Marines guy, because if I didn't have transfers, you know, you just paint a U on their shoulder, it's easy. Fuck it. It's not like Blood Angels where you need to work out how to paint a blood drop and put wings around it, or anything like that, so yeah. Yeah, so Cultists, Chaos Terminators, Stroke Obliterators, which, whatever. Chaos Space Marines, Demons, stuff like that. There is, like, Greater Demons in it as well, which you will have to fight, so enjoy that. But it is just one hell of a fun game. There's not really too much to talk about, because it is such a simplistic game, but it's so well done, it's so fun. I don't have a problem with that at all. You do obviously have health, and you have health pickup, so you can go like above your starting health, much like in any boomer shooter. You have, I think it's Conviction, which basically serves as a shield, so it will go through that and then it goes through your health. You will pick up sort of different power-ups. Now these power-ups, they're generally not out in the open. They're more sort of used in the place of secrets, whereas like in some other games a secret might be, you know, concept art or different character models, stuff like that. But in this, it's just the power-ups basically. Which is, you know, I don't know how I feel about that, but it's such, I'm just so surprised I like it as much as I do, because I mean, I played games like this before and I didn't like it. I mean, possibly because they were a butt-ton harder. It is not a difficult game unless you crank it right up, trust me. And I am playing on easy, because I like the power fantasy personally. I like being a Space Marine that's pretty much unstoppable and just murdering things and just leaving them all over the place, having painted the room red with their entrails. Another nice touch that they have is you have a taunt button. It's the T key, and you will basically make your Space Marine chappy. I think his name is, oh god, what's his name? Malum. That's Malum. It's not really a story-based game, so, you know, forgive me for having to dig that one up. But he doesn't really talk much in game. He's a bit of a quiet lad, you know what I mean, outside of like growling. But he does have a dedicated taunt button, so you press that, and he says some sort of Warhammer appropriate threats to the bad guys, which is quite fun. It also takes place in the same world, well, obviously the same world, but, you know, in the same, I don't know what to call it, because it's the same setting, it's the same world, but it's basically 2 years after Warhammer Space Marine, I think. So there are references to that game in this, which is brilliant, because Warhammer Space Marine is fucking amazing. Absolutely one of the top tier Warhammer games I've played. I would put it above this, even though I love this. That should tell you how much I like it. There is a second one coming. I haven't got Mark Strong playing the main character anymore, so I'm a little bit about that. And historically, sequels tend to be worse, so I'll keep an open mind. Whoops, there goes my keyboard. I've got an open mind. I'll keep my mind open and see what it looks like when it turns up, and I might pick it up and review it for you guys. Well, okay, I think it's pretty obvious I'm going to pick it up and review it for you guys, because A, I do reviews, and B, I like Warhammer, so yeah, okay. I'm not even going to pretend I'm not going to pick it up, I'm just going to get it. I think that's pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how much sort of current day stuff makes it into there as well. I don't want current day stuff in my Warhammer 40k. I like the fact that in 40k, fascists are the good guys. Kind of. I know in the real world I would never say such a thing, but 40k in fantasy and like in make-believe that doesn't exist, yeah, that's fine. I'm cool with that. It's kind of like Starship Troopers a little bit. Although I'm not sure if they're really, really fascist when you look at it, Starship Troopers. But that's a discussion for a different day. But yes, I like the fact that humanity has to take such a hard-line approach because the threats in the galaxy are just so overwhelming that you can't just have humans being out there doing what they fucking want. They have to be fucking locked down. Otherwise, one little guy gets infested and you lose a planet. So, can you blame them? Really? Anyway, guys, Warhammer Boltgun. It's less than 20 quid on Steam at the moment. It's an absolute blast to play. I'm having so much fun with it. I haven't finished it just yet. I have got pretty far into it. So all the weapons and stuff, and loving it. Before I forget to say, the music is also on point for this game. It is perfect for it. It has the right sort of Warhammer 40k influence metal. Because like Warhammer 40k, I don't know about like in America and stuff, but like when I was growing up with like, Christ, I had Road Trader, so I actually had the first edition. But I didn't play that. I played like 2 or 3, I think. Can't remember. But it was like really popular amongst the metalheads. So it's just a perfect selection for what we have a 40k game in my brain. Obviously nowadays it's probably got a very different audience, but I imagine the old metalheads, although they may have white collars and ties now, probably still play, I would imagine, or at least paint. And I went bold too. And when I was younger, my hair was far too curly to grow it out. So, but I would have been in that metalhead long-haired legion if I could have. But I couldn't. Oh well. Anyway, guys, I think I've drilled on long enough. If you've got a passing interest in 40k, like retro shooters, just no excuse, go get it. It's not on Game Pass, so you can't get it for free past your subscription fee, obviously. But it's less than 20 quid on Steam. I don't know what it is on the consoles. I imagine it would be slightly more expensive there because of the enhanced licensing fee they use for those platforms. I know Steam does as well, so I'm not being master race, but it's generally less than the consoles. The consoles take the piss. I mean, I remember there's been many games I've seen on like the PlayStation Network which cost more than the physical version, even though, you know, why should that be when they don't have to produce anything? It shouldn't, but that's what we call the old Sony stroke Microsoft tax. So there we go. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it there. You take it easy, and I'll catch you next time.